Nearly 50 years ago, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered one of the most memorable American speeches ever given. It is widely regarded by many as the greatest speech of the 20th century. His soaring rhetoric demanding racial justice and an integrated society became a mantra for the black community and is as familiar to subsequent generations of Americans as the U.S. Declaration of Independence. His words proved to be a touchstone for understanding the social and political upheaval of the time and gave the nation a vocabulary to express what was happening. The legacy of his speech is still evident today. The March on Washington put much more pressure on the Kennedy administration to advance civil rights legislation in Congress. After years of waiting, the Civil Rights Act was finally passed the next year in 1964. In the wake of the speech and the march, King was named Man of the Year by Time magazine for the year of 1963, and in 1964, he was the youngest person ever awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Three key components that made the speech so powerful was King's use of repetition of themes, words, and phrases, appropriate use of quotations and allusions, and use of metaphors to highlight contrasting concepts. When it came to using repetition, King repeated 8 key phrases several times to emphasize his message and increase rhetoric effect. The most famous repeated phrase is "I have a dream," which he repeated in 8 successive sentences. Here's a sample of that audio. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the people's injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. The most commonly used word in the speech is freedom, which is noted 20 different times. This is to be expected when the speech itself is about freedom. Other key words include we, which is used 30 times, our, which is used 17 times, you, which is used 8 times, nation, 10, America, 5 times, American, 4 times, justice, 8, injustice, 3, and the word dream, 11 times. Evoking historic and literary references is a powerful speech-writing technique, and Dr. King did his research. He made many references to historical and highly emotional documents, including the Declaration of Independence, Shakespeare, the Emancipation Proclamation, My Country 'Tis of Thee, which is an American patriotic song, the Bible, and Abraham Lincoln's famous Gettysburg Address speech, which is particularly poignant given that King was speaking in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and this was the president that freed the slaves. 5 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as the great secret light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cast a check. The architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They were signing a promissory note which every American was to fall as. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. King's use of metaphors allowed him to associate his speech concepts with concrete images and emotions. For example, by contrasting segregation with racial justice, King evokes the contrasting metaphors of Dark and Desolate Valley, which is segregation, and Sunlit Pass, which is racial justice.
If Martin Luther King Jr. were still alive today, I believe that he would be proud and humbled by what his words have accomplished. I can hear his great voice echoing in my ears.